Welcome to the Trust and Believe NOMADCAST, a podcast that covers a wide range of topics. So come chill with us on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Here's your host, Mr. Anderson.
What you working on?
Well, as a matter of fact, good evening, everybody. My name is Damon Anderson, retired Army Master Sergeant, and I will be hosting the Trust and Believe NOMADCAST. You heard it right. It's a NOMADCAST. I threw the pod out. I'll be talking my life as a husband, a father, growing up in Detroit, life in the Marine Corps, life in the Army, and subsequent retirement. Talking anything from current events. I'll be doing book reviews, shoe reviews, you name it. I'm going to talk about it. The channel goes live. It premieres Monday, the 13th of September. This is just the intro to kind of whet the appetite, if you will. Again, please join me, Damon Anderson, the Trust and Believe NOMADCAST. I'll be sending out the links to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Please come support. Trust and Believe NOMADCAST, 13th September, Monday. Be there. Favorite 3 words, trust and believe. Let me get back to editing.
Hey, welcome everybody to episode 100 of the Trust and Believe NOMADCAST. I'm your host, Mr. Anderson. Thank you for tuning in today on the 22nd of April, 2022. Let's give it up, y'all. 100 episodes, y'all. 100 episodes. Appreciate it. I started this journey way back in 2021, September 13th to be exact, as you saw with that intro, that back in the day footage, my first promo, right? So thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys had a great Thursday. More importantly, hope you guys have a great and blessed and foundational Friday. Speaking of Friday, finally it's Friday. That's the segment for today. So let's go ahead and get started. Happy to be at episode 100, but let's keep this thing going, not waste any time, all right? As you can see here in the thumbnail, celebrating my 100th episode. Let's take a journey retrospective. We're going back in time. It's going to be the past, present. I'm going to talk about the future as well. So, you know how I am regimented. I like notes. I like everything scripted, so on and so forth. So today we'll talk about why I chose to be a podcaster, 4 critical lessons I've learned during this process, the 5 random episodes that I've taken, a Monday for Monday Mental Combat, a Talking on a Tuesday, a Way Back Wednesday, a Gym Shoe Story on a Thursday, and the finally is Friday episode. I've taken each one from each of those days, 30-second clips to kind of show you the progression from the beginning where I am right now. So definitely looking forward to that. I'll talk about the way ahead, and we'll have our closing remarks and set the conditions for the next few weeks because I got some major announcements coming up at the end. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The first segment here is why I chose to be a podcaster. And I will tell you, if anyone asked, hey, Mr. Anderson, hello, Damon Anderson, why do you want to be a podcaster? You already retired from the Army, got 25 plus years of service. You could just chill. You could just hang out and just relax. Well, I was relaxing. I was hanging out and I was chilling. And I found myself going crazy. I was going bat crazy. And I'm not saying crazy like, straight jacket, but I was getting to the point where I didn't have, nothing to consume me. Because you figure all these years, the Marine Corps, serving in the Marine Corps, serving in the Army, your day-to-day tasks, your day-to-day battle rhythm is already, planned out 2-3 weeks, 6 months, 5 months ahead. So you know what you're doing April 12th. You know what you're doing, so on and so forth. It provides you that predictability. Now, with me retiring and having all that time to myself while my wife was at work, my daughter was at work, and my son is at school, there was no predictability. The only predictability I had was knowing when the doctor's appointments and, household things. So I was finding myself just doing random stuff to keep myself occupied. And I've talked about this in previous NOMADCAST episodes. I've always been fascinated with the microphone, speaking in a microphone, speaking on camera. I'm not camera shy. I've never met a camera I didn't like. I've never met a microphone I didn't like. I have a loud voice. I'm very confident in my actions. I'm very deliberate with my approach. So I say, you know what? This is something I think I want to, dive into. Let's have some fun with it. And now, we talked about vulnerability the other day. I knew if I was going to, put myself out there in front of the masses for people that didn't know me, for the people that do know me, I was going to have to strip down layers of protection, if you will, to become vulnerable in order to relate to people. And I would tell you that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I chose to be a podcaster. It's a thriving business as long as you can kind of latch on and network and connect well and just do the work, which is more important. And I would tell you, I am enjoying it. Some episodes are a little laborious with the tasks, the post-production, the principal photography, and all those things. But by and large, I'm very happy with the second career path I've chose. I'm thankful that the Lord kind of put in my spirit, to do something. I've done great things in the military, but I want to do something great for myself. And I got the support, the best teammate in the world, Mrs. Anderson, my kids, great teammates as well. Those guys support me, so I know I'm doing the right thing. As long as it's positive, I'm making an impact, and I'm having fun with it, I'm doing the right thing. So that's probably the reason why I became a podcaster. Now, there's a lot I got to learn. There's a lot I'm ready to learn. I've invested into, cameras, the studio, the lighting, the microphones, and all those things. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing a return on the investment. However, I understand, I got to improve 1% a day, get better each and every day, make my Mondays better than the Sundays, Tuesdays better than the Mondays, so on and so forth. But I'm glad I chose to be a podcaster. I'm part of that unique community, content creators, podcasting. Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I guess I answered that question there. Why I chose to be a podcaster. So let's talk about lessons learned. In the military, we always talk about lessons learned. When you coming from a mission, coming from an exercise, coming from a deployment, or anything, you always talked about lessons learned. What are those key lessons that we learned from a positive event, from a negative event, a negative action, or a positive action? Was it dynamic? And I will tell you the lessons I learned, I will start with skills. And you can see here, we talk about production, talk about writing, principal photography, directing, post-production, scripting, speaking. Editing. I never knew. I won't say I never knew. I never understood how, when I used to watch videos and podcasters, how do they implement those overlays when they're talking? How do they, implement the sounds? How do they integrate the sounds in the pictures to make what they're saying more valuable, if you will, to make it more playable? And I've never understood how to do that. So, YouTube is the greatest instruction manual of all time. So I sat down in my basement when I started this thing, and I figured out how to edit, post-production, photography, doing thumbnails and all those things. And I went through a few production sites before, I got married to this iMovie and the iMac. And ever since I got my iMac, I'm never dealing with no other editing sites, no more editing software, because I started with Adobe. And Adobe was great. I enjoyed it. But I think the computer I had previous to this iMac wasn't as strong, if you will. It was a great computer, but I don't think it was strong. The output wasn't as strong. So then I started using Shotcut. Shotcut was great, but it was an open source site, an open source daggone editing site. It had its hits and misses, but it was great. But once I decided, I want to continue to invest in this craft, into this skill, to enhance this skill, right? I need to invest in something that got a little more, octane to it, if you will. So once I got this iMac and started dealing with the iMovie, and I will tell you, that was crazy because I had never dealt with freaking iMacs before. I've always been a PC guy. And if you're like me, if you're so used to PCs, then all of a sudden you got to transition your skills to an iMac. Man, it could be a significant emotional event. You know what I mean? Because some of the simple controls, some of the simple tools that you have on a PC, iMac ain't trying to hear it. So you got to kind of, integrate yourself and do something better than you was previously doing. So I would tell you the skills session is probably one of the biggest lessons I learned because I never knew how to do it. But again, like I said, I came down here in the basement, I banged my head on the wall, and I just kept trying to figure out, how do we do this? How do we make the Instagram, how do we green screen? How do we chroma key? How do we do all those things? And I never knew how to do it. And there's still more I need to learn, willing to learn, and will learn. However, from where I was at in September, I didn't even look at the freaking camera in September, right? When I was doing the initial episodes of the NOMADCAST, right? So to come from that, not knowing how to edit, I was just hitting record and uploading, to now I'm pretty, functional with the editing. I'm very confident in my skills as it relates to the editing, the directing, writing my script, doing all the post-production. I mean, everything from the lighting to the studio to the microphones, all that. I will tell you my skills have been enhanced, but I want to continue to move forward. I can't stay stagnant with what I'm doing right now. I know I went off on a tangent, but the second thing I learned is patience. Dealing with social media, dealing with YouTube, dealing with anything that's outside of your control. We talked about constraints and limitations. The constraint is anything external, limitations are internal. And so when I'm talking about patience, how long it takes to upload a daggone 30-minute video to YouTube. Oh, by the way, make sure your description is good to go. Make sure your title is good to go. Is it standard definition or is it high definition? Make sure you don't upload it too soon because you may miss the high definition mark and now your video's coming out looking crappy, right? Waiting on people to like, waiting people to follow, to connect, and doing all those things. And I had to realize no matter how much work you put in, if you want to be considered one of the greatest podcasters, which is my goal, no matter how long it takes to get there, you're going to have to be patient with people. People like, okay, yeah, he got a great story. He was in the military. He's married. So what? So I have to rely on patience and continue to dig in, dig in the fight, dig that foxhole, and to prove to people that way this person could tell person B. Person B can tell person C. That's word of mouth. That's a skill we learned in recruiting. And that's just regular life, right? Just the whole networking piece. Now, again, I think that's just the patience because in the military, if you do X, Y, and Z, you have potential to get promoted. If you do X, Y, and Z, you have potential for advancement, so on and so forth. Dealing with this podcasting, you got to wait. I mean, this podcast has been going on, conducting their podcast for like 2-3 years, and they still haven't, risen above sea level. So I understand where I'm at. I'm definitely understanding each day. I'm being humbled in my position as it relates to podcasting. However, I will continue to invest in my skills, continue to invest in my skill sets, enhance my skill sets. So one day I am above sea level as it relates to podcasting. So I would tell you patience. Patience. Keep digging, keep digging, keep digging. And sometimes you just got to keep digging and digging, keep fighting. One thing I am not a quitter. So I will continue to move forward, head down, moving forward. Let's talk about business understanding. Understanding the business of podcasting, I am still new to it. I'm still immature in that respect as it relates to the business of podcasting. When I was a recruiter, it was easy to advertise. It was easy to market. You have to take marketing classes when you're a recruiter, advertising classes. So I knew I had a business card. All recruiters, we have business cards. So I know an easy advertiser for me, if I'm going to a sneaker store in Detroit, and I know a lot of young folks are in sneaker stores, I know how to talk with people, move around with people, discuss the Army with people, kind of break down different things, some of their interest levels, finding out their interest levels, finding out who their centers of influences are to try to influence them to enlist. But also knew I could take that business card and go into a Foot Locker and put 15 business cards inside the shoes. So now when that person is going to the store or anybody going to a store, You look inside the shoe to see what size it is. Oh, there's a business card. Who is this guy? Oh, he's a recruiter. Let me call him. Hey, I found your business card in the store. To me, that was easy. Figuring out this advertising and this marketing and this podcasting is still a bundle of work. I understand I'm uploading to YouTube. I understand I'm uploading to all the audio sites, the Spotify's, the Apples, the Google, the Amazons, all these sites. I understand I'm putting 1 minute clips on Instagram. I understand I'm putting 1 minute clips on TikTok. I understand I'm uploading a video to LinkedIn. So I'm hitting the young folks. I'm hitting the older folks, the mature folks on LinkedIn, the young folks, immature folks on Instagram, the folks on TikTok and YouTube. And it's still a battle because people have to figure out, who is this guy talking about trust and believe? What the freak is a NOMADCAST? Who is this dude? He's from Detroit. He was in the Marines. He's a retired master sergeant. He's married. He has kids. So how do I enhance the advertisement to let people know to come in my world? Hey, this is what I've been through. I've lived all over the world. I can provide great marital advice. I can provide great advice in raising kids. I can provide valuable lessons, life lessons. They just want to be a center of influence, if you will, a spirit of influence, right? I want to project having a great moral compass, because we all have a moral compass. Some of it's north, some of it's south, some of it's east, some of it is west. Just want to be able to provide. I just want to be able to provide a source of reasoning, if you will, as it relates to business podcasting. But I tell you, it's tough. It's tough trying to get into this business. It's easy to hit record, talking to a camera and do all these things. But as far as trying to get the name out there, getting my face out there, it's a challenge, because you think about it. I'm new to YouTube. I'm new to TikTok, new to a lot of these sites. So I'm well behind the power curve, right? It's like, the old school way of filing papers, and, it's 55,000 people ahead of you. We just received yours. So once we eliminate and reduce some of the 55, maybe we can squeeze you in there. So that's the kind of way I look at it. But again, I will continue to fight. I ain't quitting. I ain't freaking stopping. You can't stop me, no matter how many views I get, no matter how many comments I get, no matter what. I will continue to move until I figure I can't move this thing no more. Trust and believe that. Last one I want to talk about as it relates to the 4 lessons is equitable work ethic. I understood when I was starting this podcast, it was going to take a work ethic and to use tools I've never used before and or didn't know how to use them. Now, being in the Army, we was beaten down with PowerPoints. Know how to put a slide deck together. Know how to brief that slide deck. Make the slide deck very interesting with enough bullet points and enough things to talk about where you could brief the slide without reading the slide. Very versed in that. Got to thank the Marines and the Army for that. However, trying to come up with some of these things as it relates to podcasting, I didn't know how to do. So again, I had to rely on my work ethic from the Marine Corps, my work ethic from the Army. And I knew if I gave 10% of the 100% of work that I did in the military, I would be fine with this podcast, because I'm one of them guys, I would keep digging in until I figure it out, right? And that's when I talk about equitable work ethic. How do I make this thing as successful as I was in the military? How do I make this thing right? How do I continue to move forward and to gain traction? Sometimes you're trying to gain traction in mud. Sometimes you're in quicksand, but you keep going. So long as I continue to have my work pace, my work ethic that I had in the military, this is going to be easy. It gets frustrating talking on here and doing some of the post-production, the editing, going through scripts, the principal photography, my thumbnail, trying to figure out ideas, figure out what I want to talk about, how do I want to structure certain things. I had that same work ethic in the military. So I could do the same thing here, right? And now I'm not on a timeline like I was in the military, where you had to meet suspense dates, where I had to meet deadlines. I understood that. So now everything is great. I just got to continue to work. Again, have that same work ethic that I had in the Army, same work ethic here, be unstoppable. So that's kind of my take on it, though. Again, those are 4 lessons I've learned through this process: the skills, the patience, the business understanding, and the equitable work ethic. So now to continue on with this 100th anniversary celebration, 100th episode celebration, I want to take you guys into the five random videos from the Trust and Believe NOMADCast, 30 seconds each. And what it is, they're going to represent a Monday Mental Combat, a Talking on Tuesday, a Way Back Wednesday, a Gym Shoe Story on the Thursday, and the finally is Friday. 30-second clips from each one of those days. I just picked random videos. So sit back, enjoy. I put a little background music to kind of, make the pictures, make the things more melodic. And I have that when I do the photos. So sit back a little bit. 30-second clips from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And talk to y'all when you get back.
You can do so much with those phones. Everyone on social media, they go to Facebook. Oh, I'm putting pictures on Instagram. Who are you trying to connect to help you get out the situation? You talk about people that's being hungry. They ain't talking about food hungry. They want things in life because they don't want to be stationary. What are you doing? You work at an auto plant. Are we trying to just be the guy to just put the car together? Again, I'm just talking, right? Let's be that manager. Let's be something else. Again, if you're comfortable where
Somebody,
you are.
That you've been knowing like for years, especially like a dude, you give them dap and you kind of do the whole shoulder, touch the shoulder and all that. But by and large, I hug people from my shoulders. Extroverts, they're going to hug the whole body. Come in here. Hug your grandma. Hug your auntie. Hug your uncle. Hug your grandpa. They're going to hug you and probably just, suck the life out of you, put you in a freaking bear hug. Those are like extrovert, right? Phenomenal shape. And plus, in that game, he was going to meet certain incentives, related to his contract. So I don't think an NFL player would give up that type of money knowing that he has certain incentives that he can gain. But I guess the main takeaway is I think Antonio Brown probably suffers from a lot of mental issues, probably as a lot of NFL players. But it's a certain play that happened in the playoff of the old ads here. But I would tell you, this shoe right here, again, I always talk about shoes being phenomenal. But what I always liked about the Air Max Uptempo 95 was the freaking air bubbles, man. There's something about them, the air bubbles on old school Nikes. Now, if you ever wore a pair of these, the shoe is very soft shoe to wear. Lovely shoe to wear. I wear it from time to time whenever I'm wearing something. Talk about this book from Mr. Simon Sinek. He's also author of the book Start With Why. I'm trying to read that as well. But again, leaders eat last. So what I did, this book has, forget how many chapters. This is a total of 27 chapters. But ladies and gentlemen, I only picked 4. So we won't be spending all day talking about the book, right? But I want to talk about 4 critical chapters, what I thought was important. That was important to me when I read this. All right, book. Everybody, hope everyone enjoyed those 5 videos from Monday Mental Combat, Talking on the Tuesday, Way Back Wednesday, Gym Shoe Story on a Thursday, and finally it's Friday. So now I want to show just a little slideshow of some of the pictures from some episodes as well. And I'm providing music as a backdrop to make the pictures more, visually digestible, if you will. So let's go ahead and lead into different pictures from various episodes of the Trust and Believe NOMADCast. All right, everybody. Hope everyone enjoyed those pictures as well. The next thing I want to talk about is the way ahead. My way forward with the NOMADCast, I'm going to have it where I'm going to be on YouTube, continue to have my presence on YouTube. I'm going to reach out to Patreon. I'm going to start having my videos and episodes on Patreon. I will continue to be on TikTok. I will continue to be on Instagram. Okay. So the NOMADCast is not stopping. I want to get better each and every day. Each episode, I want to get bigger. I want to get better. 2022, I think I'm going to start doing interviews. Probably, do some daggone interviews with people in the military, maybe some family members, maybe some friends, maybe people I don't even know. So I definitely want to integrate some interviews into the NOMADCast as well. So that's definitely something I'm looking forward to 2022. So that'd be my way ahead. All right. So let's go ahead and close this episode out. Closing remarks. Again, I can't say it enough. I'm thankful that you guys, to all my subscribers, to all my subscribers on YouTube, all my connectors on LinkedIn, all my followers on TikTok, all my followers on Instagram. Appreciate it. Patreon. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, hanging out with me on episode 100 as the previous 99 episodes. So I just want to say this and be clear. The next episode of the Trust and Believe NOMADCast, I'm going to take a 2-week hiatus. I got some things I want to improve as it relates to the NOMADCast. So I'm just going to take a little break. 9 May, I'll be back. Mark that on your calendars. The 9th of May, Monday Mental Combat will be the next episode 101. Trust and Believe NOMADCast. Everyone have a great weekend. Be safe, be sound. Take care of yourself, take care of others. 9 May, we'll be back again. Peace and love, y'all. Let's say it all together. Trust and believe. Godspeed.